want to make sure we're recording. Okay, so we're going to follow these steps to success. I just read step 1. What we're going to do is follow each one, and right now it says click on the All U.S. Directories tab. Well, if you look up, you see a bunch of red tabs. Okay, now these red tabs each have different features. Well, right now, in order to find the tax auction list for the upcoming auction in the county that we're looking in, which again, we're going to use Clay County, Florida today, we're going to click on this All U.S. Directories tab, and it simply says immediately below are your U.S. state directories, including tax deed and tax lien directories. So we're going to click this link, and it's going to open up Ted's U.S. directories. Okay. Now what Ted's done is put all of the county information, website information, address information, contact information with phone numbers and email addresses all in one place. So for those of you that are researching upcoming auctions in counties, you guys can take advantage of this, and it'll save tons of time for you. So you just have to basically log into the members area, locate the counties that you're interested in working in, and you'll see here what's offered. For example, we're going to use, because I'm familiar with Clay County, well, I shouldn't say too familiar with it, but I know they have an upcoming auction. They have some in September, some in October. So that's in Florida. We can just scroll down here, and we'll see a list of states. You can click on the state, or if you like visuals better, you can simply click on the state, the 2 letters on the state, and that'll bring you right to Florida's, or that particular state's, overview. Okay, and on this overview, you'll have a list. I'm just simply scrolling down right now. You'll see a list of all of the counties. Okay, so you'll see a list of all of the counties, and right now we're going to go ahead and find Clay, C-L-A-Y. So as we scroll down here, everybody can see Clay. We're going to go ahead and click on that. Now what just happened is we were able to locate Clay County inside of the U.S. directories, which ultimately brought us to this page. Now on this page at the very top, you can see it says Clay County. It brings us directly to the area where the information is. And this, at first, starting from the top, has a link to the county tax collector. We can simply click on this, and that'll take us directly to Clay County's tax collector's website. Okay, we also have contact info, phone numbers, as well as physical address. Scrolling down a little bit more, we have the county property appraiser's website, which is a link. You simply click on it. It'll take you right there, along with contact information with a phone number and physical address and email address. And if we go down a little bit more, you'll see another link, and usually this link at the bottom, see here it says http://www.clayclerk.com. Okay, this is clayclerk.com. Now this is usually the first link you want to click underneath the county, because this is going to take you to the Clerk of Court's website. And chances are on the Clerk of Court's website, there's going to be the information about the upcoming auctions. All right, so we're always going to want to click on that link first. Now, after we click on that, you'll see in step 2 and step 3, we're going to take advantage of the property appraiser's website. And again, we can find that inside of the U.S. directories, which I just covered. Property appraiser's website is just above that Clerk of Court's website. So let's go ahead and first let's click on clayclerk.com. That's going to take us directly to the Clerk of Courts for Clay County. And again, for those of you who aren't familiar, Clay County is a county just south of Jacksonville, Florida. So it's in northeast Florida, and it's just south of the major city, Jacksonville. Okay. So now that we're on Clay County Clerk of Court's website, we know that somewhere on this website is going to provide us the information of the upcoming auctions. Now we don't know exactly where, and that's why we have these program overviews, because we want you to be familiar with knowing that not every county website looks the same. So, for example, this website's laid out differently. I happen to live in Brevard County, Florida. That's laid out differently, and so on. They're always going to be different, but they're all relatively the same in the sense that they will have or provide us the similar information. So you just need to understand and know what to look for. On this website, as we scroll down, you'll see down here on the bottom left, there's a link that says tax deeds. Okay? I have somebody that says they lost sound. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, got it. All right, sure. All right. So there's a tax deed link. We're going to go ahead and click on tax deeds. Now this is going to take us usually to a page, like a small disclaimer. Okay? Every website has it. They just want to make sure that they're not going to be liable for any misinformation or what have you. It's rare. They don't usually publish misinformation, but they're just protecting themselves. So as we scroll down, we see this website asks us to do a little radio button. So we just want to select that we understand and agree. Let's go ahead and click continue. And now we're taken to a page that looks like a list of upcoming auctions as well as properties, okay? So we have, as we scroll down, we have right here, for example, sale date September 25th, and right now September 10th, so that's still a little close out. Let's go to something a little further. Here we have sale date October 16th, 2013, okay? So this is a list of properties. As we can see, I'm just going to scroll down. It looks like 10, 20-ish, probably 20, 25. And what we're going to do, we'll just go ahead and do a little research on this top property. Okay, we see the certificate number 374-2010. Now, I want to make sure that we always stay on track, and that's what you guys should really make sure you do too. It's very easy for us to just simply click on this and then get lost into looking for information that we might not necessarily need. So what we always want to do is go back until you get this down. You want to go back to the property research program, and you want to click on the steps to success, and you want to make sure you complete the steps. So right now, all we've been asked to do is find the tax auction list. And I'm going to go ahead and click back. We can see we've already found the tax auction list. Okay, so that's done. So now let's move on to step 2. Step 2 is to locate the property appraiser or assessor's website. All right. And I'm going to read just below that. It says, use TED's U.S. directories to locate the county property appraiser's website. Most property appraisers' websites feature a search tool where you will enter the legal description, which is also called a parcel ID or a property description, and it's provided on the tax sale list. Now, most counties, okay, most counties have on the auction list, I'm going to go back to it so we can all see, most counties have a parcel ID, or they call it a legal description or a property description, which is what the counties use to identify the exact size and location of a piece of property. Okay, every county in the United States uses it. It's the system that we've put in place, so we always know the exact size and location of a specific piece of land. Okay. Now, in saying that, we want to be able to find out some of that information. There's a couple of reasons that we must know that information. So in order to find that out, let's go back to this list that we're on. Okay, and you can see there's a little link here. It's because it's blue. Hopefully the websites will make it blue, but right now we know this is a link, so we're just going to go ahead and click on this top property, and it's going to take us in to a little bit more information about this property that's coming up for auction. So you're going to want to read read what it says, make sure you're familiar with it. And as we scroll down, here's this legal description. See, it says Lot 16, Block 33, Big Tree Lake, Section A. You're going to want to know that because the auctioneer at the auction is required by law to auction this property off based on that legal description, or they also call it a property description, okay, or a parcel ID. That's because not every property has a physical address, okay? If they don't get mail, they don't have a physical address. So let's say there's a piece of rural land in the middle of nowhere. If there's no mail being sent to it, there isn't a physical address, okay? So in saying that, how do we know what that property is? How do we classify that property, okay? Or how are we able to explain the exact size and location? And that's exactly what this description does, all right? So that's very important for you to know, because you'll want to be able to understand when the auctioneer is calling it out that, oh, he must be talking about, and if you look a little bit lower, this county provides you a physical address. Oh, he must be talking about, or she must be talking about, 5640 Acadia Street, Keystone Heights. And I know that because the legal description is Lot 16, Block 33, Big Tree Lakes, etc. So make sure you know that. Be prepared, okay? Now, another reason you want to know the legal description is because if there is not a physical address with the property, it's still good to know. You might still want to research it. So what you can do is put a list of these properties together, and if you happen to live in the area or close to it, you can physically go to the property appraiser's website and say, hey, I need to know where all of these properties are. Or you can pick up the phone and call. Or property appraisers' websites sometimes, hopefully, not all the time, I haven't seen them on every website, but sometimes they provide information where you can just simply put in that legal description or property description, and up will come the property. It'll be an image of it. It'll show where it is with regards to other areas like streets and that type of stuff. Okay, so that's very important to know too, because that means you can continue doing your research on these properties without having a physical address. Providing a physical address makes this process extremely easy, which you're about to see. And luckily, this county, in this case, provides a physical address. Some counties don't. For example, Brevard County, the county I live in, does not provide physical addresses. We actually have to take this legal description, put it inside the property appraiser's website, hit search, and then it then provides us the property address. Okay? So knowing this physical address is going to save us tons of time. All right? So now we're just going to jump back, and let's make sure step 2 is locate the property appraiser or assessor's website. And I already read it, but basically this just says to visit the U.S. directories, okay, to locate the county property appraiser's website. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to the All U.S. Directories tab. Let's click to view the All U.S. Directories. Again, we're going to go to Florida, and we are going to scroll down, and we're going to find Clay County. That brings us right to Clay County. Now, here's a link for the county property appraiser website. So first things first, let's go ahead and click on that. And now, please keep in mind this is very similar. The same thing goes for this website as it does for the Clerk of Courts. They all do not look alike. So just have an understanding of what you want to search. Okay? Now, what we want to do is to be able to find a little bit more information about this property. Maybe the last time it was sold, the square footage of it if it's not mentioned on the auction list, and those type of details. And we can find all of that usually through the property appraiser's website. So in this case, we're going to go ahead up towards the top. Here's a property searches tab. We're just going to click on data searches. Okay. And again, there's another disclaimer. We're going to simply click I accept. And what we're going to do here is let's search by, we see a parcel ID here. Okay. See this parcel ID number? We can actually search for it by a couple of ways, by owner name, parcel number, location, address. Well, let's search by parcel ID number, okay? So knowing that we have the parcel ID number, we're just going to go ahead and highlight it and copy it. For those of you who do not know how or haven't had to use the copy or paste functions, you want to learn it, okay? So make sure you understand and learn. Have somebody show you how to copy and paste inside of the internet, okay? All right, so I just want to answer a question that came in. Hi, Phil. Phil asked, is this being recorded? He's on a slower connection inside of a hotel. So yes, to answer everybody's question, or Phil's especially, this is being recorded, and I'll make it available sometime tomorrow. Okay, it'll be available for everyone to view, and you'll all receive an email with that. If for some reason you don't receive the email, just make sure you check back tomorrow by the end of the business day, and we're Eastern time. Eastern Standard, so I would say by 3 p.m. at the latest for a lot of your times, okay, 3 or 4 p.m. All right, so now going back, what we want to do is grab this parcel ID. Again, learn how to copy and paste if you don't. So I'm just going to left click. We're going to copy it. We're going to come back and we're going to click on search by parcel number, okay? So here's parcel number. Now we see parcel identification number. Okay, right up top here. Now you need to read these. Parcel number without dashes. Okay, so let's go ahead and paste. And we want to make sure we remove these dashes. Okay, so now the dashes are removed. Let's click search by parcel ID, and hopefully that works. And it looks like in this case it does. If you get an error that says we're sorry, it didn't work, you have no results, it usually just means you typed something wrong in. Okay, so make sure you double check what you're doing, because we get that all the time. So now that we're here, we have some information that came. This isn't the best looking, this isn't the best way to display it, but it is the information. A lot of counties will display it a lot nicer, right? So they're everything color coordinated, the boxes are bigger, the text isn't as small. But in this case, we just have to deal with it. So now we just we want to make sure And this is indeed the property we're looking for, and that's 5640 Acadia Street. Okay, and now here's a link over here that we can click on and find out some more information about this property. So now we can do a little search. Let's see. So we have, let's start from the top. We have the owner's name, okay, and it looks like Carol Bim is the owner's name, and we have the mailing address of the owner. Now let me tell you something important about mailing addresses. For those of you who are familiar with absentee ownership, that has to do with people that live out of the county or out of the state, okay, and they own property. Now, what sometimes happens is that these owners forget to pay property taxes, or some things come up and they can't afford them or what have you. They live out of state, and sometimes they aren't receiving the mail that says your property is coming up for auction, you better pay it or you're going to lose it. And the reason we bring this up and want you to be aware of it is because as time gets closer to these auctions, people sometimes will pay. Okay, a lot of times they'll pay their property taxes, they'll borrow from a friend or do whatever they have to do in order to pay it to keep their property. Well, if somebody lives out of the county or out of the state, there's a better chance that they haven't received that piece of paper from the county saying your property is coming up for auction, which means that that property will probably still, I don't want to say probably, let's say has a higher chance of being on the list whenever you go to the auction. So always put a big green check mark or do a big circle on these properties that have owners that do not live in the local area, okay, that live in a different county or city or state, because that's a property you're going to want to research. And again, chances are there's a better chance of it being still up for auction when the auction comes. Okay, so that's an important thing to know. Now, as we scroll down a little bit more, we see just value. This is $11,000. Okay, and as we scroll right, we'll see assessed value $11,000, taxable value $11,000. And as we go down a little bit more, we see that unit type is a lot. And all I'm doing is just scrolling down. We'll scroll down and see. Some property appraisers' websites will provide you tons and tons of information about a property. Others don't. Okay, others will provide half of this. So this is a balance. They show you pretty much what you need to know. But as we scroll down here, since there's no building on it, it's a lot. There's no building data or anything like that, so you don't have to worry about having to research that stuff. But as we scroll down a little bit more, we have something that's pretty neat here. It's sales data. And under this sales data, we have the sale date on the left-hand side. It looks like June 8th, 2005 was the last sale date. If that's how their sale dates are, it could be August 6th, but I believe it's June 8th. And as we scroll right here, we'll see the price was $22,000 for the warranty deed, and it shows who sold it. Actually, it shows who received it. So they might have kept it in the family there, it looks like. I'm not sure. So either way, here's some information about the property. Let's go ahead and jump back, since we've completed step 2, and find out what step 3 is. Step 3 says view property information and locate the physical address. Well, we've already located the physical address. Okay, and the reason we have this inside of a step is because if you have not located the physical address, if the county hasn't provided that for you on the auction list, then you'll want to make sure you do find that physical address. Okay, so that's why this step's important. But thank you to Clay County, they've already given us that information. So moving on, we want to view the property information. So let's read below. View all property information provided on the property appraiser or assessor's website, including physical address, assessed value, square footage, and more. So we've looked at that information, or what we could have, because it's a lot, so there isn't square footage or any other information about the dwelling or the unit on the property. But what we can do is view an image of the property. So let's go back. And this is the first time I'm doing this. I'm doing this completely live. So let's hope the show parcel map button works. But on every property appraiser's website that I've seen, there is a link or a button that you can click, and it shows you an image of that property. And that image is taken usually by the property appraiser's website. Okay? And what they do is they map. They take images, they map, and they also draw little red lines or orange lines or yellow lines around the property lines, okay? So how big the property is. So you can see it in relation to other properties around it. So let's go ahead and click on this link, and let's see what we get. Let's give it a second to load. Okay, we have a little disclaimer here. So in this case, you can see it doesn't zoom in. At least the default view isn't a nice aerial view like what we're used to, but we're gonna get to that in a second. We have a much better tool that we're going to use to zoom in on this property and view some other stuff. But right now you can see this property is almost the shape of a big rectangle, and it looks like there's a lake next to it right here on the corner, or who knows, we're not sure, but we'll be able to zoom in and see some more. So I'm sure you could play with these tools up here and zoom in or zoom out and that type of stuff. And it looks like here's some information on the left that we can click and hide, but we're not going to that because we're not an expert on the property. But also it looks like on this property over to the right we have the information that we just saw, okay, inside of the property appraiser's website. So it just happens to carry it over. All right. In this county, it looks like it provides other views like Google Earth or a bird's eye view, and a bird's eye view uses Bing. And we have Google Maps and Street View. So you can play with these tools and get a nice close-up view of this property. So now that we've completed step 3, we want to jump down to step 4. And step 4 says view an image of the property directly from the property appraiser's website and assessor website. Most property appraisers' websites allow you to view an image of the property, okay, when no physical address is available. Well, guess what? Because we got excited and we got a little too fast, we've already completed step 4. And you're going to do that quite a bit, okay? So now that we've done step 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll recap, we're ready to start researching the property, all right? So far what we've done, step 1, is we found the tax auction list using the U.S. directories. We've also located the property appraiser's website using those U.S. directories as well, and then we were able to pull the information from the tax auction list, all right, and then we were able to put it inside of the property appraiser's website and view some more detailed information about that property, and then we were able to view an image of that property, okay? Let's not say an image exactly, it was more of an outline of the piece of property, but now we're going to take that to the next level by researching the property. Now I'm going to read step 5, and that's take advantage of the Zillow and Trulia research tools found in the above tabs towards the top of the page. Research recently sold properties and current real estate listings using these tools. Now these tools are awesome. They save tons of time, and we're going to show you a couple of tricks that most people don't take advantage of when using these tools. All right, so we're just going to simply scroll back up to the top, and we have a Zillow Research Tool tab, okay? We're going to go ahead and click on that. What this Zillow Research Tool tab allows you to do is simply put in a place, like a county or a city, and search all of the properties, okay, in that area, along with what properties are currently for sale, what properties have recently sold and what they sold for, and you can also view detailed information about those properties. Now, why is it very important to know that information? Because you'll want to be able to estimate the value of your property prior to even going to the auction and bidding on it. It's great to know what the value of the property could potentially be, and by using this research tool, you're able to narrow down your list by searching for properties that have recently sold comparable properties, okay? And Zillow is going to provide that for you. And by saying a comparable property, a recently sold comparable property, all a comparable property is a property that's recently sold, okay? They always say 6 months to a year, right? So recently sold properties that are comparable to the property that you're interested in purchasing at auction, okay, or investing in. It's a tax lien certificate, although that's kind of out the window. So for tax deeds, you'll want to be able to, in order to come up with an idea or an estimate of value, you want to be able to look at comparable properties, find out what they recently sold for, and also it's nice to know what properties are currently on the market, okay, and how much they're being listed for. Because guess what? After you win this property at auction, what's going to happen is you're going to go sell it, and wouldn't it be nice to know what your competition is? So this tool is going to help you do all that. And what we're going to do is take property address, okay, that we were using earlier. We're going to take that address and we're going to input it inside of this research tool, and then we're going to go ahead and do some more digging and find some more important information on and use the information that we find to help give us an idea of if we want to keep researching it or not. So let's go ahead and let's go back. We see here the physical address is 5640 Acadia. All right. So let's go back. I'm just going to go ahead and paste that right in. Again, I really encourage you to learn how to copy and paste if you haven't before. So we're going to paste that in. We're going to click Go. And what happens is you're taken directly to this property's page on Zillow. All right. And again, Zillow is this research tool that's going to provide us some really, really important information. So now that we have the information, it says your search at 5640 Acadia Street, Keystone Heights. All right, so we can even hover over this. Here's the address over here to the right. We can hover over it, and it's going to show us on the left. We get a little pop-up. See, it says NA, and then there's it looks like a little white box, like a comment box. Well, that's the piece of property right here, and we know it is because we matched it up, and it looks very similar to the property inside of the property appraiser's website. All right, so now that we know that this is the property that we're researching, let's go ahead and do some more digging. First of all, let's find out some comparable properties. So properties that maybe have recently sold that are in the area. And to do that, what we want to do is zoom out. So there's a little plus symbol and a little minus symbol. We're going to click the minus symbol, and that's going to zoom us out. Zoom out again. And here we have a bunch of little red or blue houses. Okay. Now let me tell you what the importance of the red houses are. The red houses are houses that are for sale or lots that are for sale. Okay, so those are all currently for sale items, and we can actually click. I'm going to go back to it. We can click on each one of these. I'm not going to click on one right now, but we can click on each one of these and find out more detailed information about these properties. Okay, well, that's important. That's good to know, so we know what our competition is. But more importantly, we really want to know what's recently sold, so we can get an idea of what somebody's willing to pay for a property that's similar to the one that you're looking at purchasing at the auction. In Zillow, what you can do is, I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning. Up towards the top, here's a little filter area. Okay, it's a filter button. Let's go ahead and click on that. And then as we go down, you'll see a recently sold checkbox. We want to make sure that's checked. Okay, now once that's checked, we're going to hit apply. We're going to give it a second to think. And then up comes all these yellow houses. The yellow houses are houses that have recently sold or lots that have recently sold. Okay, just because it's a house, don't think that it had to have been a house that sold. They're also lots, right? Vacant land too. So we know that here's an $81,000 house, right? A piece of property with a house on it that sold. We can click that and view more. Or here's one that's $4,000 that recently sold. Here's one that's $7,000 that recently sold. Let's click on that $7,000 one, and let's see some information. So it looks like that this house, see up here on the right, once we click on it, we get some information about the property. It looks like this piece of property, looks like it was vacant land for $7,000, 5620 Lassen Street, Keystone Heights. Sold on November 21st, 2012. Okay, so a little less than a year ago. And we have some information about this property. The lot size is 1.14 acres, and we have single family. Okay, so that's what it's been zoned for, single family. But right now, it looks like it's just a lot. And again, here it reiterates when it sold. Okay, so that property sold for $7,000. Now we can also click on this $4,000 property, and let's see when that sold. That sold right about the same time. And we see that the lot depth, lot width, road frontage, some important facts about the property. And that sold for $4,000, and it was 1.28 acres. Okay, so now let's go back to our property, since that would be nice to know. Let's click on this little thing up here. It says list. Here's our property, 5640 Acadia Street. Well, we know the facts, and these facts are pulled directly from the property appraiser's website in the specific county, so we know these are true. That this property is 1.18 acres. Okay, so it's about the same as the ones that have recently sold for $4,000 and $7,000 less than a year ago. Now, it's also important for us, and I'm surprised nobody sent the question, it's important for us to know how much we need to bring to auction or what we can expect to pay. Okay, so in order to, we want to know that before we really start figuring out how much comparable properties have sold for. In order to do that, we can go to the auction list. Everybody is familiar with this. We pulled it up a couple times. This is the auction list, and right here we have opening bid amount. Okay, so starting bid is going to be $1,422.13. Now, in no way is that always going to be accurate. Sometimes you'll need to bring a little bit more money, so you're going to want to read the rules of the auction. Okay, and that can always be found on the auction, the website where the auction is listed. All right, so sometimes they have rules of the auction here. Other times they're directly on the website. If you cannot find the auction rules, simply use the U.S. directories, phone the county, and say, "Hi, I'm interested in the upcoming auction. Where can I find the auction rules?" And they'll be more than happy to point you directly to them. Okay, so this is opening bid, $1,422.13. Now, knowing that, we know that there are some comparable sales that have sold for $4,000 and $7,000. Okay, looks like here's one for $8,000. All right. So if we're curious as to where our property, the one that we're researching, is located amongst all of these, we can again come over to the right, hover over it, and you'll see that little box pop up. Okay, right where the property is. All right. So that is Zillow. We'll say a 50-foot overview of Zillow. We really encourage you to dive in, do a little bit of research, and get familiar with these tools, because between Zillow offering you the recently sold properties, as well as the ability to know what's currently on the market, that really puts you at an advantage over other people that don't know about these tools. Okay? What Zillow is known for is estimating property values. So if you go to a property inside of Zillow, it's going to tell you an estimated value most of the time. In this case, it doesn't. Like if you scroll, if we look down, it says Zestimate None. Okay, you can click this question mark, and it's going to tell you why it didn't give you one. But Zillow uses proprietary information that they're not going to tell us on how they come up with these numbers. But what they do is actually use comparable properties, okay, recently sold properties. And they also use a bunch of other stuff like real estate trends, how big the lot size is, right? If it's on water, if it's on the ocean, if there's a house on it, if the house has a pool, that type of stuff. So they come up with these estimates, or zestimates they call it, estimates of value, and they tell you what they think your property is worth. Now, a lot of people get stuck on that. We don't want you to take that number. It's just a raw starting point. Okay? And Zillow will even tell you that. Do not take that number as 100% accurate. Okay? Sometimes it's off. It's too high. Other times it's too low. We want you to take advantage of the tools that are most often overlooked. All right? And those are the tools that we just covered, that being comparable sales, what's recently sold. Remember, we just covered that for the recent lots. One we did a $4,000 lot, the other one a $7,000 lot. We also want you to notice what properties are up, are up for sale at that time, so you know what competition you have coming out. So that, in a nutshell, is Zillow, and the important features that we really want to make sure you take advantage of. So we encourage you to put in a property, do a little research, find an auction list, put in a property inside of the property research program on the Zillow tab, and start playing around with it yourself, and you'll understand the true power and how much time it's going to save you by having direct access to that information. So moving on, now that we've just completed the Zillow research tool, we have a Trulia research tool. Okay, Trulia research tool is very similar to the Zillow research tool in the sense that you can put an address in. It says enter address below. You simply put an address in, and then you hit search. It's going to take you to Trulia's website, okay? And Trulia is going to show you very similar information that Zillow showed you. But the estimated value is always going to be different. They both have, Zillow and Trulia have their own ways of weighting property values. So it's always good, and Ted encourages everybody to have, to take advantage of multiple property research tools, okay? Because it's always nice to have a second opinion. So make sure you take advantage of both Zillow and Trulia. All right, I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on the Trulia thing. We're going to make a mini tutorial for that here within the next, I want to say, 3 to 5 days. All right. Tomorrow, now that I'm on the tutorials, tomorrow we're going to go over a Zillow in-depth Zillow tool, in-depth Zillow tutorial, which is very similar to what I'm covering now. And we're also going to have another tutorial for you that we'll send an email out. It's very important. So now we have Trulia research tool, And as we scroll right, we have a demographics tool. Now, this was actually a request from multiple people, especially our friends north of the border. So some of you said, well, we're interested in getting involved. Okay, we want to go to a tax lien certificate or a tax deed sale, but we have no idea where to start. Well, a lot of people have no idea where to start, and we don't hold that magic key. We can't tell you, hey, we want you to go here, go there. You just need to kind of stick your feelers out, we say. So listen around, talk to friends. Make sure you join or come on the Wednesday night calls with Coach Crystal. Very, very important, because you get to ask questions and she provides the answers, and she is experienced and she's made a ton of money in this business. So make sure you take advantage of that. It's available to you and it's free. Okay, so make sure you take advantage of it. Now, the reason we added this demographic tool is because we want you to be able to feel comfortable in where you're investing in. All right? So now we can't guarantee that everything's going to be great when you go to invest. You know, maybe the crime rate's a little higher than what the demographics are going to show. But either way, this is pulled from the U.S. Census, and we want to give you the option for you to be able to do some searching in some particular cities or counties. Okay, so what this tool is, I'm not going to get too involved in it. I'm just going to show you how it works. Right here, we have San Francisco, California. You can simply click on Go, and it's going to take you to San Francisco, and it's going to give you a bunch of information about it. So we have cost of living. It's going to show median income, the crime rate, and all that stuff. So it just gives you a little overview of the area, and we figured it would be nice for you to have. So that's why we added it. Now moving down, we have a program overview. For those of you who have watched, we call this our webinar replay. For those of you who watched the webinar replays, this isn't anything new to you, but we want to encourage you to, when you have questions, come back to this area. And every day after our webinar, so tonight we're doing a webinar, tomorrow sometime I'll have a replay that I will add right here in this spot. Okay, and this is the Property Research Program overview, and it's actually this webinar. So we're recording it. We're going to put it right in, and you'll see it'll say updated 9/10/2013 because that's tonight's call. So make sure you come back if you have any questions. Of course, reach out to us, shoot us emails, give us a call. But if you ever have a question regarding what happened on the webinar, maybe you want to do a refresher, make sure you come back here and watch it. It's all available to you. Moving on, we have FAQ video tutorials. Okay, these are frequently asked questions, and they're made in video tutorial format. So we actually show you step by step the answers to your questions, and these are three of the most common. Okay, how to turn the tablet on, how to disconnect to wireless internet. As we scroll down, we have how to remove tedbetasoftware@gmail.com. A lot of you might not ever have that issue. Okay, there were certain tablets that went out that have this little thing that popped up. So we show you how to get rid of that, and also how to set up and add a Google account. All right. Next, moving down, we have how to update and install applications on your tablet. So make sure you take advantage of those. We spent quite a bit of time putting them together for you, and it's just ease of use. So we want you guys to be able to come to inside of the Property Research Program, find out what you need, get your answers, and get researching. All right. Now, something that was just recently added per Ted's request was a bonus, and we call it the Canadian package. Okay. For those of you who weren't on the call last week, this is completely new to you. The Canadian package is basically instructions and forms for non-citizens, so our friends north of the border. Okay, I know there's quite a few of you on this call. A lot of you have asked questions. Hey, what do I need to do to get started? How do I make sure everything is done properly? Well, here it is, all in one place for you. Okay, and the first thing we have, you'll see in quotes at the top, is what Canadians need to know and do to invest in the United States. All right, so we have a breakdown of what's in it. It's a 1-hour audio with a 53-page transcript. Simply log in to the Property Research Program, click on this play button, and it's going to start. And it's, like I said, it's about an hour, and it's with Coach Crystal going over all of these steps and basically explaining everything you need to do step by step and which form you need to fill out and where you need to send it for you to get started. All right, so there's no questions left unanswered. Now below that, as you're listening to the audio, you'll see we have the IRS forms and instructions for non-citizens. As you scroll down, all of these are links. Okay, so we have IRS forms, we have instructions, employer identification number, steps on how to obtain it, and all of your questions are going to be answered. This is a $500 value. Ted said, go ahead and throw it in because we know you guys needed it. So this, in a nutshell, we'll call it, I always say 50-foot overview, is a 50-foot overview of the property research program. All right, we really, really encourage you guys to get involved, go ahead and do your own research, find some upcoming auctions, and keep us updated. Let us know how you're doing. I can be reached at Gary, G-A-R-Y, at Ted.Thomas.com. And keep a lookout. We have a couple of emails going out this week for new tutorials that we're adding. I'll go ahead and blow the lid on the surprise. The first tutorial I told you about is on Zillow. Okay, so that's going to be an overview, very similar. There's actually going to be pieces of what I covered earlier inside of that tutorial, as well as a tutorial that's from Zillow directly. Okay, so they have their own mini tutorials, so you guys can see some really cool features that Zillow provides. All right, and then moving on, we have a bid for assets tutorial. For those of you who are not familiar with bid for assets is a website that you can go to and bid for properties online. All right, so that was one of the huge benefits about this program, is you can take advantage of it and make money from your home. Okay, so that's what we're going to be covering. We actually have a bid for assets tutorial in the works now, which will be live, if not tomorrow. I don't want to make promises and not keep them. It will be live on Thursday. All right, so that's going to be huge for you guys. We're going to send everybody an email out, but I want to reassure you that if you do not receive the email for whatever reason, first of all, we apologize and we're working on it, but make sure you come back Thursday night or sometime Friday and check out both of those tutorials, because they'll be huge time savers and they're very, very, very important. I want to go ahead and wrap the call up. I try to always keep calls to between 40 and 45 minutes, and we just passed that point now, so I want to make myself available for some questions. Usually I stay on 5 or 10 minutes after and help get your questions answered. Feel free to shoot those in, and I'll go ahead and answer them in the order that they come in. I also want to remind everybody to make sure that you come on next Tuesday, as we'll have the new features added and we'll cover those. And you can also, in the meantime, sometime starting after tomorrow afternoon, you'll be able to watch a webinar replay. And the last thing I want to stress is, if you do not have your login details, if you do not have your login information for whatever reason, go ahead and shoot me an email directly. It's Gary, G-A-R-Y, at Ted.Thomas.com, and I will make sure I send you those property research details, the login information. Okay? If you send me an email saying I do not have my login information and you happen to have a shaw.ca email address or a telus.net email address, I will physically pick up the phone, call you, and give you your login details. Okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap through. I see a couple of questions that came in. Let's see. Okay. When researching on Zillow today, the property I was researching came up as on the market or for sale. Does that happen often? I'm wondering how a property that is listed on the auction list can also be for sale. That's actually a great question. And chances are it was listed a while back, and for some reason it still was not taken down. Remember, what happens is Zillow and Trulia are tied in directly with the county records. Okay? They're also tied in with real estate agents' records. Okay, so brokers, real estate brokers, will actually go into Zillow. They all have, you'll notice once you're on Zillow.com, you'll see a bunch of ads pop up for local real estate agents in that area to contact. So they have a whole real estate agent area that they cater to because they want their advertising dollars. So what you want to do is make sure when you're researching property, if you see that it's for sale and it's going to auction, probably shouldn't be, right? So you want to dig in and find out why, but chances are that it wasn't taken down from the real estate broker, okay? So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, a couple of you say, I still have not received my tablet. Okay, so Ted just held an event not too long ago, and if you still have not received your tablet, do not worry, all right? We have a bunch of tablets that were shipped out. I do not have the latest stats. Okay, I just know that every day we're processing and getting tablets out to you guys. That would definitely be a question. If you have not received your tablet, I would love for you to email me, Gary at Ted.Thomas.com. Just say, hey, I haven't received your tablet. I'll go ahead and look into it. and get some tracking information for you or give you an update on the status of your tablet, okay? Now I see a couple of questions here. Is your EIN number good all over the states? How do we get basically an EIN? Okay, ITIN. These are all questions for Coach Crystal on Wednesday night. So consider me just a nerdy tech guy, okay? So I've been brought on board. I know a little bit about the business. I've been with Ted for quite some time, and I'm helping head the development of the property research program. So I'm more functionality and making sure you guys get taken care of. If I do not have the answer, I will do my best to point you in the right direction, I promise. Are the webinars on Tuesdays only? That's a great question. Currently, the webinars are Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, okay? But we're also talking about adding one during the days, starting in the next couple of weeks, to make it available for everybody, all right? Depending on how we see the need, then we possibly will do that. But as of right now, keep in mind the webinar is Tuesday, but we also have that replay for you, so you can come back and watch it at any time, okay? Okay, let's see. Go back up to the top. Oh, you guys, they're great. Keep your questions coming. Okay, yep, I have another. I have not received my tablet. Go ahead and email me if you have not received your tablet, Gary, G-A-R-Y, at Ted.Thomas.com. And I see the one searching on Zillow. We've answered that. Okay, Jurgen. All right, great question, Jurgen. Jurgen says some support was only available for 2 months for free. Which one was that? Thank you. Okay, so what Ted's put together is the property research program, and he also provides you the tablet. He gives you all the tablet, you keep it, and he has a 60-day trial. Okay, some of you have different dates on when you started, and Ted probably told you when. So yes, there is 60 days for you to use this program as much as you want. All right. And then it's $99 a month after that, all right? Now what's going to happen, and you'll start seeing emails and getting phone calls over the next, I want to say, 2 weeks max, of a success club that we're launching that we've jam-packed full of tons of information for you. And we're actually going to go over each one of those features and what we're adding inside of that success club, okay? And that becomes unlocked for you. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that in much more detail, what the benefits are and what you get and why it's going to benefit you. Here over the next week, we're putting together a bunch of stuff now. So we already have the program built. We already have everything in there and ready to go. We're just developing the emails that go out to you and getting some last things tightened up. Okay, so keep a lookout for that. Okay. James says, hi Gary, I'm having trouble with Zillow and Trulia on my tablet. I can't seem to zoom out easily. It only wants to zoom in when I tap the screen. Also, when I tap on a state to get a directory, nothing happens. No problem. Okay, so what happens is, unfortunately, when you're using the tablet, we cannot control the applications. Okay, so that's what we've done, is put together this whole program inside of members area, which is online and accessible via the internet, because we don't want you to have to rely on the applications on your tablet. So for those of you who have received a tablet, you've received applications. You have a Zillow button that you can click on right on the home screen of the tablet. You also have a Trulia. I think there's a Realtor.com and a LoopNet on there as well. Well, what we want to do is make sure that you're not using those, so to say. Those are there for you to take advantage of, but if they do not work for some reason, we want you to log directly into the members area, okay? And we want you to use the tools inside of the members area because we've tested and we know they work. Now, if you're still having issues, if there's any issue that you come across, for example, the U.S. directories might not be working, and I know somebody that said that, the U.S. directories aren't working on the tablet, I want you to email me, Gary, G-A-R-Y, at Ted.Thomas.com, and I'll go ahead and look into that a little bit more for you, okay? So we'll make sure we get that working. Hi, Bruce. I see your last question as well. Go ahead and email me directly, and we'll go ahead and square that up for you, okay? Hi, George. My first name is Gary, G-A-R-Y. Gary at the @ Ted.Thomas.com. We have another question, and the question is from Trevor. How long do the recordings stay for viewing? What we've done is we make sure that we will take the latest recording and make it available to you the next day. Okay? So now, once it's made available, it's going to stay available for that week. All right, until the new recording comes. Because we're adding features, we want to make sure that you have the updated material. We don't want you to go back to previous recordings and maybe something looks a little different or doesn't act the way it should. So we always leave the most recent recording available for you to view. Okay? Good stuff. And I see Ashley's jumped in and she's answering questions as well. So it looks like we're all set. Questions have kind of come to an end. What we're going to do is go ahead and make the webinar replay available for you tomorrow. Please remember, first 60 days is absolutely free. And also make sure you come back, join the webinar, take advantage of the webinar replay, and also come to Coach Crystal's calls. Very, very, very important. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and wrap up. I see a couple more questions come in, so I'll stay on for another 30 seconds or so just to make sure these questions get answered. And then we want everybody to have a great night. For some of you, it's still a little early, so enjoy dinner. For some of you, it's a little bit later. Make sure you get a good night's rest. And again, please know we're here for questions. We'd love to help you as much as you need, any questions you have. And keep in mind, we're constantly developing this program. So we encourage you to give us your feedback. Let us know your thoughts. Tell me how I did. And we'll constantly be improving it, over the course of as every week continues. Okay? You're welcome, Trevor. Thank you for coming on. You got it, James. Thanks for coming on, guys. Thanks, Dave. Please make sure you guys come back next week. There's going to be a lot of stuff, okay? A lot of different changes and more features added, more importantly. So some great tutorials and then a couple of other bonus items that we're adding in here for you. Thank you, Linda. Have a good night. Thanks for coming. You got it, Bruce. Take care. Please email me. Thanks for coming on, Robert. Okay, well, that we're signing off. Thank you, everybody, for attending. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and look forward to hearing from you with any questions. Take care.